installed this, I think it was before you got here, because they were selling their sewage portion, and that, yeah, I'm like,
All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you could please stand with recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for all coming. And this is your new town council. 2 members, Jay Tominski and myself, were re-elected. And so we start the new season. Thank you for coming. Before I ask for an adoption of the agenda, I want to delete the executive session that was on the agenda. We no longer need to have an executive session. Having said that, are there any other changes before I ask for an adoption of the agenda? If not, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. I need a motion now to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 11, 2023.
Make a motion for adoption of the minutes for the meeting on April 11, 2023.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So passes. I need a motion to adopt the regular minutes of the April 25, 2023 meeting.
Motion to adopt the minutes from April 25th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. Moving to communications and presentations, Ron Gailey of the First State Chapter of Nam Knights.
Not sure of the protocol. Here, Mike.
Yes, please.
My name is Ron Gailey. I'm with the First State Chapter of the Nam Knights of America. We have 80 chapters throughout the country, stretching from Alberta, Canada, to Florida, west to Arizona. And our whole purpose in being the Nam Knights is to honor and memory of fallen soldiers and police officers. And that is our whole being of existence. It's what we do our fundraisers for. And we do a good job of it. Any police officer that falls with the Ocean View, Del Mar, we're there for the families. I learned about the problem with the school resource officer from the FOP, from the chief at Lord Baltimore. When I gave the information to our chapter, it was unanimous, we can't let that be. So in my pocket here, I have a check that I'd like to present to you, sir. $500, I wish it was more, and it's gonna be more.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Mayor, could you come down, try to get a picture with Ron real quick?
Sure.
Guys, can you come up with a picture of Justin? Get a picture. Ron, come on. Guys, all you guys, come on.
Let me get this.
Okay, sure. We'll put it on our Facebook page, I'll send it to you, Ron.
By the way, I want to get down with that also.
I'm gonna try to get rid of the podium here.
Hey, Joanne.
Yes, sir.
Over here, you get the podium.
This way, yeah. Please, thank you.
Snuck up.
Thank you. It's not too late. Why you must do that?
All right.
Thank you very much.
You guys don't want to stay for the whole meeting?
As exciting as that sounds.
Okay, we'll move on to reports, the financial report, Dawn Parks.
Thank you. Before you have the monthly financial report as of May 31st, 2023. As of the end of May, for last year's April 30th taxes, we had collected 99.85%, leaving a balance of a little over $4,500 moving forward to this year, which isn't bad. We had 2,662 property owners take advantage of the 1% discount, which is a very nice rate. I'm real happy to see that. The tax bills for this year, which are effective May 1st through April 30th of 2024, were postmarked by June 9th, and I'm sure you all have received them. I have phone call after phone call this morning. So people are now getting them. Again, this year you voted to have the 1% discount, so taxpayers have until July 31st to take advantage of that, and until August 31st to pay without penalty. Moving on to our reserve and committed fund balances, our emergency reserve trust fund has a balance of $1,040,470. Our capital replacement trust fund has a balance of $1,181,586. The street repair and replacement trust has a balance of $2,396,375.
Dawn, can I interrupt you real quick?
Yes.
With what Dawn just mentioned with our balances for our trust funds, I just wanted to remind everybody, just in case anybody forgets or wasn't aware, our trust funds are funded by our real estate transfer funds that come in for sales. We do not rely on this money to run the town. So as that goes down, the funding of these sources that we've been developing, you know, over the course of many years, I think since 2018-ish, if I'm remembering correctly. So just want to state the significance of those monies being available to support these trust funds, and that as that reduces, we still are not relying on it to run the town. Thanks, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thought it was worth mentioning.
The American Rescue Plan, I itemized what we've already spent or have encumbered from those funds, and we have a balance of $618,739. As of the end of FY23, we had 28 new home construction permits of the 40 that we budgeted for FY23 for our Emergency Services Enhancement Program. We have a balance in there of $1,042,838. Transfer taxes through April 30th were 29.1% from new construction, 2.6% from land sales, and 68.3% from resales. What that means for our fiscal year 2023, we had 32 new construction homes, 13 land sales, and 103 resales. You will see on there that we ended the year a little under budget. It took a nice little dive when the interest rate started going up. For FY24, we did reduce our budget to $1 million, which is $83,333,000 target for each month. For the month of May, we had $132,000 come in. So it looks like it's getting back up there through the summer. April was also a nice month. You can see we had 114 in April, 132 for May. So I think we're going to have no problem hitting our target for this year, even with the reduction of available homes. The financial statements that I provided are through April 30th, but they're through all the invoices and expenditures and revenues that we have received through May 31st. At this point, we collected 101% of our budgeted revenues, and we spent 92% of our budgeted expenditures for FY23. We are still accepting prior year revenues and paying expenses through the end of June. Auditors will be here the week of July 10th for our annual external audit. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Dawn?
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
Dawn, The project that's over off of Woodland Avenue for the 116 townhomes,
Mhm.
when do you think that'll come online? In the budget year 2025?
They phased it over 3 years. This year, they were saying, what, 4, I think, is their demo homes. By the time they get the plans approved and, actually get permitted and start building, they estimated they'd have 4 up in this current budget year, so that's what we estimated. They then did for our fiscal year 2025, it's gonna be a big hit with finishing out in FY '26. So we did plan accordingly with those homes coming on.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, thank you.
Mhm.
Moving on to the public safety report.
Yes,
Chief?
good afternoon, everyone. You have, actually 2 reports. You've got April and May, so all of the data for April and May are in your packet. Couple highlights. The police department provided CPR first aid training to members of the Chamber of Commerce. That was a prelude to the assistance that we provided on the 29th of April for the Bethany Fenwick Chamber of Commerce bike tour. The Ocean View Police Department hosted a week-long active shooter instructor training event, April 24th through the 28th down in Bethany Beach. And we brought in officers from all area departments to participate in that event, and it was very successful. We provided security and traffic control at the Artisans Fair on May 27th. I attended the Wedgefield HOA meeting also on May 27th. Officer Dylan Murphy, one of our recent hires, has successfully completed field training and is now patrolling solo. So if you see Dylan out there on the street, say hi. Our new hire, Tara Mazza, is not able to be with us tonight, but she has been hired as a seasonal police officer for the summer, and she's slated to attend the police academy in October. Upon her completion of the police academy, she will fill our current vacancy that we have for a full-time officer. So Tara also becomes the first seasonal police officer in Ocean View's history, and we hope to follow up with that next year with a 2 to maybe even 4 seasonal police officers next year. As the town gets busier and busier in the summer months, we're going to need that. I think we're going to need that seasonal officer presence to really make sure that we're out in the community and we're able to continue to do all the community policing things that we like to do. A couple promotions that took place effective May 1st. Captain Keith Hall was promoted to Captain 3rd Class. Captain Hall in the back. So congratulations, Captain Hall. Captain Hall's been with the Ocean View Police Department since 2001. Washington Alava was promoted from Officer First Class to Corporal, and Officer First Class, or Officer Connor Watkins, was promoted to Officer First Class, and Connor's with us. We also have Corporal Justin Hopkins, and of course everybody knows Sergeant Carter in the closet. Justin and Connor will be here after the meeting, immediately following the meeting. We have our 2 newest police canine dogs, Canine Ori and Canine Leo. Ori is a Shepherd Malinois mix, and does patrol, narcotics, and tracking. And Canine Leo is a golden retriever that is trained on narcotics, and is also working on tracking and, what else am I missing, guys? Article searches. So we're gonna do some demonstrations for the council immediately following the meeting. So I will cut it off there. I'll be happy to entertain any questions council has, and I would encourage you to stick around for a few minutes, out in the parking lot, and you get to see the two new dogs work a little bit. I apologize for the, Justin and Connor's dress. They just were at canine training up in Dover with all the police, canines in the state. They kind of rushed to get back here for the meeting, so they're dressed down a little bit.
Well, we appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.
They probably stink as bad as their dogs do.
I can't smell them from here. Chief, I wanted to ask you about the CERT training. I just signed up to do that, and I'd like to encourage the whole town council to sign up for that as well.
Yep, so CERT is Citizen Emergency Response Training, Citizen Emergency Response Teams. It's a program that falls under FEMA and DEMA, and it's designed to prepare our citizens to respond to natural disasters and even man-made threats. One of our volunteers, Ed Donnelly, is taking the lead on that. We had a very robust CERT team in Ocean View for years, and it kind of fell apart. And leadership just went in different directions. So we're trying to rebuild that capability. We're right now, we're just starting up hurricane season again. So you never know when our number's going to get drawn, we're going to get hit with a hurricane. So we want to make sure that we're prepared locally to deal with that. So we have, Russ, correct me if I'm wrong, we have something now on the website for CERT. Yes. Yeah, so if you go to the Ocean View Police website, and the town website, you can register for our CERT training that'll be conducted right here at the police department in Ocean View.
Sweet, right?
And it's good training.
How many people can you take in the class?
I think we can take about 15 or 20 right now. We're a little shorter on the instructors, so we're trying to keep the class sizes a little bit small, but there's been a big interest. So I think we're going to be running a lot of classes over the next couple months. But we got Tara Mazza here, so Tara, come on up and say hello.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
So Tara, hold on a second. I'm going to put you on the spot right here. Give us a real quick background. You just completed college.
Okay, so I'm Tara. I'm originally from New Jersey. I graduated at Immaculata University in Pennsylvania with a minor in criminology, sociology, and a minor in social work. I was a Bethany seasonal for 2 summers, and now I'm working at Ocean View for the summer, and I'll go to the academy in October.
Okay.
Glad to have you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome, Tara. So Tara will be, again, is our first seasonal police officer, and so she's already making history here in Ocean View. Hopefully she'll be with us for a while. Okay, thank you, Tara.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I got to mention, since you walked in, we got Officer Anne Marie, or Corporal Anne Marie Dalton in the back. Everybody knows Anne Marie. So.
Do I have to give a speech too, or?
Okay.
Any other questions for the chief? Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to planning and zoning development report, Ken Semino.
That's a hard act to follow. I just have some updates here. The ADA improvements in Savannah's Landing have been completed. The contract's been finalized out. Paving in Bear Trap along Willow Oak and along October Glory is also completed, and that contract's been finalized out. We completed our seasonal tree trimming this year and sweeping in all of the communities that have curb and gutters. And I also want to note, was made aware today of the drainage issue in Bear Trap between, in front of 18 Willow Oak Avenue. The inlet is full of water, it has about 3.5 feet of water in it. And the pipe, about 300 feet of pipe runs back to the stormwater management pond. So we have scheduled for Thursday for our contractor to come out, plug the outfall section, portion of the pipe out in the pond, and then pump that out and get a camera in there and see what's going on. So we'll be in there on Thursday taking care of that.
Okay, I just wanted to mention that since the paving has been completed, there's a lot of standing water after rain, mostly on corners.
Yep.
Some of it gets quite deep and stays for 2, 3, 4 days. That wasn't the case before.
Some of those areas did hold some water, and it's now been exasperated because we increased the crown of the roadway. The issue isn't with the paving, the issue's the gutter line. The gutter line is
Sinking.
is lower, and there's no inlets in the immediate area of most of those radiuses. But it's something we're aware of, and it'll be programmed in the out years to take care of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Little update on some of the sidewalk projects. I'm just going to skip through these. Design of the final segment of sidewalk along Woodland Avenue from Hudson and Daisy is completing, and we're going to have a public meeting on July the 13th here at 32 West at 6 p.m. What else we have here that's really relevant? Hudson Avenue, you know, that project is completed. The restoration of the roadway can't take place until Sussex County gets in there. They have about 400 foot of sewer pipe that they need to dig the road up and repair. Still no word on when they're going to get in there and do that work. Design of the cottages finally wrapped up. Plans are on my desk. I need to take them to the Conservation District. We had a meeting April the 26th. That was very well attended by the community. And designed the final phase of sidewalks here on West Avenue from Osprey to the canal. I issued that task assignment to McCormick Taylor and Associates. They're currently working on that design. Code enforcement over the last 2 months, we had 72 violations for grass, 7 violations for failure to obtain a business license and/or a building permit, 8 notifications following up with potential rental properties without a current license. Also noted on here is there's a property on Atlantic Avenue that is now commercial property, and we became aware that they were renting the upstairs of that property. The ultimate determination was the county code has changed for commercial buildings. They do not have a fire suppression or sprinkler system on that second floor, so therefore it's not code compliant with the fire marshal's office or the county, so those tenants have to vacate that property. Permits and COs and business rental licenses. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Where is this commercial space on Atlantic Avenue?
70.
Which one are we talking about, Cam? There's a couple,
The one that you,
2 that could,
72?
yeah, about, yeah.
72. It's Summer something. Builders.
Apartment on the second floor, we actually got a call about it. Somebody called and reported it anonymously, and it's kind of not in my wheelhouse, so I passed it on to Ken. I think 1 or 2 people living upstairs over top of the business.
And we became aware of another one above the Sweeties just here in the last couple of days, and we're working on getting them out of there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just to Ken. That time of year with pools and there's been a lot of sightings and pictures taken of pool companies draining their saltwater pools into the canal. Who should that be reported to?
Denrec.
Denrec. Okay.
Denrec.
Even though it's saltwater, it is.
Yeah,
They shouldn't be
discharging
draining
it.
any, they shouldn't be draining anything
Into the canal without a permit.
So there's been reports of a saltwater pool, then also following that, a regular pool drained into the canal.
Yeah, it shouldn't be anything drained into the canal without a permit, discharge permit from Denrec.
Okay.
Mr. Cobb, if you want to pass those complaints off to me, then we will work on that. We have kind of a concurrent jurisdiction over the canal with DENREC as far as enforcement of any state law, and I will make sure that the appropriate folks at DENREC get notified on that.
I'll see you after the meeting.
Just a note to you, Councilman, I have been checking that. Yeah, Councilman, I have been checking that property weekly on Fridays and Mondays.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Ken?
No.
Thank you. Moving on to the town manager's report. Karen?
Yes, just skip over some things that have already been said. Just want to make everybody aware that a new event called Deaf Fest 2023 being offered by the Delaware Deaf Senior Citizens organization is having an event Saturday, September 23rd, right here in town at the Hope Center of Mariners Bethel. It'll go from, they are a 501c3. I'm mentioning it just because our police department will be participating as one of the booths that will be there, and the town is going to provide a donation as well as help them get the word out. The event does celebrate deaf culture, which, if you may not be aware, we do have a large number of deaf individuals or hard of hearing individuals in and around the town of Ocean View. They hold a large picnic here every summer in the park, which is coming up. So there'll be lots of American Sign Language activity and programs. So you'll be hearing more about that in the future. School Resource Officer, our SRO fundraising, we just had a good kickoff to it with the $500 donation that came in earlier in the meeting. We do have information out on all of our sources, Ocean View TV, Facebook, the website, and just sent in the newsletter to every property owner in the town about the opportunity to donate to help us continue to offer this worthwhile program at Lord Baltimore Elementary School. It's my understanding that the school PTO is also working on fundraising activities to help us get additional support for the fundraising portion of this position at the school. It's already been mentioned that the newsletter and the tax statements went out. We do have some in the back in case anybody doesn't have one or isn't a town resident, and you can pick one up. I want to say thank you to everybody here, because all of you, all of the staff and many of the officers and lots of the people in the community have supported our first ever spring fling that we held on May 6th. We had a very wonderful turnout, good weather, seemed to be very welcomed by the community and to align well with the other programs that we offer that we do, I think, to offer a sense of community and a welcoming family focus. So, Mayor and Council, thank you for participating. Thank you also for also planting the Arbor Day tree that we typically do each year. Also, thank Council and the community for supporting all of the other events that we do that we seem to be getting very good feedback from our community about. We also have our Scout Troop 281, who has been our partner for many years now, 5 years, to actually handle the food and things. So again, we're ready, already started our events for the year, and lots more fun to come. Gave you a update on the Sussex County reassessment. There was a lot of information shared, so I thought just best to share the email exchanges with you, but we were advised that, that they are a year behind completing it and expect to complete it sometime this time next year. They have been in Ocean View, so you may have had or heard from or seen them in your properties, in and around your properties, visiting to do their full reassessment. So we'll keep you posted on that as things change. Concert series launched with the first week, Glass Onion. Thank you to everybody who helped out with that. We had to cancel, or chose to cancel, Hot Sauce last week because we postponed it rather in association with DENREC's guidance regarding air quality. Unfortunately, the next day we woke up and found out everybody else had their concerts. But we only had a few calls, and I think we have a good situation where they were able to reset the date for September 2nd, which is Saturday of Labor Day weekend. And staff is now working on trying to create a really nice evening in the park with Hot Sauce performing and, you know, everything red, white, and blue that we can come up with, fun to do that day. So it might be something nice to come and visit with. The movie nights are planned. We'll update you with the Bear Trap Dunes conversion from propane to natural gas impacted our building at 201 Central because our generator ran on propane, was connected with the former propane tanks associated with Bear Trap. We've been working for 4 or 5 months now to determine whether or not we could convert and get the equipment. We found out last week that we can do that. Later on in the agenda, we'll have the recommendation for mayor and council to decide if they want to move forward with the conversion. Happy to say that DelDOT's Muddy Neck Double Bridges road pavement rehab project, which they said would happen during the summer, that they're now telling us it will occur in September. So that'll give us some relief with the crowds and shutting that roadway down. Have a bunch of other information about things that I've participated in over the last 2 months. And you also have 2 months of Public Works Department information that I'd be happy to answer questions for as well.
I have one suggestion on the school resource officer funding. We know that not everybody in town goes on our website or watches our TV stations or reads our newsletters. Maybe we should have something in the Coastal Point as well.
Yeah, I thought that the opportunity to thank the Nom Knights for their donation today would make a good opportunity. The pictures that we took to get something in the paper. Maybe someone from the Coastal Point would care to write an article. We can try to get in touch with Susan. She's not here today. I don't know if she's listening, but I'm sure we'll hear from her, or I can reach out. I think it's a good opportunity.
Yeah. Any questions for the town manager?
A couple, Mr. Mayor. Carol, on the SRO, and council, anybody who's listening, obviously, town of Ocean View has been very much upfront about the SRO program. Representative Shute has introduced a bill, House Bill 167, in reference to adding SROs to the 240-some schools that are in the state, 19 districts, 24 charter schools. Cost sharing, 70% state, 30% locality. So I was in Carol's office and we're reaching out to our rep, Mr. Gray, and of course Senator Hocker. Mr. Mayor, I think it would be, I'm supportive of this bill. I think the council should be supportive of this bill. It will definitely get more traction and people understanding that the locality has to support the SRO funding And the SRO cannot be confused with what the school district is going to do, because that's a constable. So I'd be in favor of, and Mr. Mayor, hopefully you would agree, that we as a town council write a letter to Representative Shute, or Senator Hocker, or both, or Representative Gray, in support of this bill. I hope everyone's read the brief description. The number one issue with kids going to school today for parents is safety. And so far, the town of Ocean View, through our police department, has just done an awesome job. You and I had the pleasure of touring the school with Officer Reese and principal, and the more we could do for our school that's in our community, the better off we'd be. So,
Well, I think that's a good suggestion. I know that the town manager has sent a letter to Parker and Gray.
Yep.
But we can also send one to Shute.
One of the downsides, as we talked earlier, is the little budget shortfall within the state, and hopefully this is not one of the areas that they're going to not start cutting in. But thank you, Mr. Mayor, and Carol, anything we can do, draft something up, we can get signatures on it, and see how this passes through. The legislative session ends at the end of the month, so it's not that long, 2.5 weeks.
They're busy, there's a
Yes.
lot on the
On the
agenda.
docket, yes, and it'll go right up to midnight, I'm sure. The second thing, Mr. Mayor and Carol, is the pickleball courts. We've talked about it briefly. There's still a tremendous amount of interest in pickleball. I think one of our esteemed Mayor Pro Tem council members is an avid pickleball player. He could add, we still have quite a few residents that would like pickleball courts. You know, we talked about where we're going to put them. Mayor strongly suggested, and I agree with, that maybe we take a survey in the area that we might be considering putting pickleball courts in, to see what the public feedback would be. If we're considering this lot here, which would hold 3 pickleball courts, I've measured it, 70 feet long, 120 feet deep, 10 feet between each court, not that I've done any measuring. And still have 6 parking spots. I think Mayor rightfully said a nice polling of the people in this area to see what their feelings would be. And then, based on that, maybe we could start to proceed farther as far as it being viable in the town limits. So,
We can get something out.
if I could be any help of assistance door to door, no problem doing that as well.
You can add to me as well. And obviously, Councilman Cobb, you're right, you're spot on, and of course, the biggest issue is noise created from hitting the ball. So you gotta make sure it's the right court, which is the right surface, and it has to be wrapped, or you will not even get people to buy into it. But it's expanding by the minute. There's almost 40 million people who play globally. So it's a big deal. It's just putting it in the right spot.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? No? Okay, thank you. Moving on to Millville Volunteer Fire Company report. Since we did not meet last month, I have 2 reports, one for April, one for May. In April, they did a total of 250 calls, 214 of which were EMS calls. And of the total calls, 42 were in Ocean View. And in May, they had 251 calls, 202 of which were EMS calls, and 32 total calls in the town of Ocean View. Are there any other questions before we open it to citizens' privilege? No? And at this time, we will open it to citizens' privilege on the items on the pre-published agenda listed for discussion and consideration on the items subsequently added at any time to the pre-published agenda. So if anyone chooses to speak at the first citizen's privilege, he or she may not speak on the same topic at the second citizen's privilege. If there's anyone who would like to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and your address. Seeing none, we will move on to new business. The introduction of an ordinance to restate the fiscal year 23 annual operating budget and restate of the fiscal year 23-27 capital improvement budget. Who's introducing this?
Who's introducing it?
Do we have to read it?
It's just an introduction.
It's just an introduction.
Okay.
So, next meeting
Will be the public
will be the public hearing.
hearing with possible voting.
And just for clarification, this is something we do every year. It's a final, exact accounting, if you will, as we close the fiscal year.
Okay. Moving on to just,
Does it need to be introduced?
I
Somebody
think
needs
you
to
have to
introduce it.
introduce capital separate, right?
Yeah, they both
But
need
somebody
to be
needs to,
introduced.
somebody needs to make a,
You have one
Motion.
council,
Motion
council
to
members,
introduce
the staff can't do that. We're gonna ask one of you to do it. To
wait,
agree to
introduce and
introduce
propose
it.
the ordinance, yeah. So we need a motion and a second.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to introduce an ordinance amending and restating the annual operating budget fiscal year ending April 30th, 2023.
Second.
all in favor?
We,
Aye.
yeah, we don't really need to vote on
Okay. So passes.
it. It doesn't, we're not passing the ordinance, we're just introducing the
introduction.
ordinance, moving the ordinance in.
We just need an introduction.
Yeah, we just
don't
need-
a second.
Yeah, okay, we don't need a
Okay.
second, we just need it, okay. So, and we don't need to vote on it, we just need somebody to move it in.
So, you already did the operating budget, so capital.
Well, we did the capital budget, we did not do the, we need to restate the fiscal year 23 annual operating budget. I need a motion.
Okay, I don't remember.
We did the capital improvement budget.
Oh,
No, we didn't,
No, we
didn't
don't.
do that.
I did operating.
yeah, okay.
We just did that.
So do you need a motion for that?
Yes.
Yes.
I make a motion, we reinstate the year 23-27 capital improvement budget.
No,
The
read
next,
the first one.
what, I thought we just did the.
Yeah,
first
that's
one.
what he said, yeah.
So you move to introduce.
Okay.
Oh, introduce, sorry. I make a motion, we introduce the FY 23-27 capital improvement budget. Is that right?
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
perfect.
We'll work on getting that a little tighter next time.
Okay. Moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible voting on WSFS banking resolution resulting from the election of the new mayor pro tem.
The resolution in front of you is from WSFS Bank, where we have our capital replacement trust fund, as well as our emerging project account. These accounts have checks written from them. With the changing reorganization and Councilmember Pro Tem Walsh taking over that position, we have to change our authority with the banks for signing of checks. So the first one is for the WSFS banking resolution.
Okay, so I need a motion to allow Ron Walsh to be able to sign checks for the WSF banking resolution.
I'd like to make a motion for voting on the WSFS banking resolution resulting from the election of the new Mayor Pro Tem, Don Walsh.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Discussion, consideration, possible voting on the Fulton Bank resolution resulting from the election of the new mayor pro tem.
This is the same. Fulton Bank holds a majority of our accounts as are listed at the top of the resolution. The main account being our general fund checking and our street repair and replace it fund, which we cut checks from. Same situation with the reorganization. We are removing Tom Malley and adding Don Walsh to our signature cards.
Thank you. So I need a motion for the Fulton Bank resolution resulting from the election of the new mayor pro tem.
I'd like to make a motion to vote on the Fulton Bank resolution resulting from the election of the new mayor pro tem, Don Walsh, and removing Tom Malley.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0. Moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible voting on the appointment of Tom Malley to the Planning and Zoning Commission to complete the term of Jay Tominski. Well, this is just to replace Jay. It's self-evident, so I need a motion to do that, unless there's a discussion.
I make a motion to get rid of Jay Tyminski. Replace him with Tom Malley.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So it passes. And the last item is discussion, consideration, and possible voting on a recommendation to convert the generator from propane to natural gas. Okay.
Yes, Mayor and Council. As mentioned earlier in my report, we do have Barnes Electric, who has serviced our generator since its installation, has identified the necessary parts associated with our unit's conversion to natural gas. This is part of the Bear Trap Dunes conversion project. We have been connected to them through the propane for all the years the building's been there. Funds are available from the Capital Reserve Trust. The cost of this conversion is $6,975.
The conversion in Bear Trap has gone very well. My gas bills have gone down quite considerably, so I think this is a good thing. Any further discussion?
Just have a question. Is that a permanent solution, or is that something that has to be maintained?
Permanent solution. They come in and, along with our electrical contractor, and make all of the changes, and then there's some equipment in our building that has to have some tweaks done, which they've already figured that out prior to this. We were at the point where we were almost not going to be able to do this, and we were going to have to decide if we're going to have our own propane tanks, maintain them, or whether we would go forward and attempt to actually get a new generator. I think I provided, might have provided some of the costs on that.
It's a substantial savings.
Yeah, substantial. The cost of a new one, with ours having a lot of life left in it, really didn't make any sense. There's also the added value of being part of a larger source, so that we don't have to worry about running out, especially since our building is used as our emergency operations center during events where deliveries may be impacted.
It's a great call. I didn't know you could do that, but that's a great savings. Great job with that.
Any other questions? If not, I need a motion to approve the conversion of the generator from propane to natural gas.
I'd like to make a motion to vote on the recommendation to convert the generator from propane to natural gas.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-0, passes. We move now to the second citizen's privilege. You may ask any question from the agenda or anything else you'd like to ask. Anyone who would like to make an announcement or a question, please come to the podium, state your name and your address.
Randy Robles, I hope you haven't forgotten yet. 7 Winchester Drive. This is just a concern of mine. I'm not sure if it matters or not. A lot of people rent their houses down here. I have a problem with that. I would do it if I had an extra house. and sometimes they put a for rent sign out, and that's gone as soon as it's rented. But there's Airbnb coming down, and I'm curious if that can be a permanent sign on someone's front yard, that it's an Airbnb with what number it is that's contracted with the Airbnb.
No,
Permanent.
no, it cannot be. Do you have an address?
Well, it's real tough for me to say the address
Okay,
because
we'll look into it.
my only concern is
Yep.
if that's allowed, what else would be allowed? I could start a business in my backyard, you know, saying like, you know, taxidermy or something, have a great big sign out front. But I'd like to keep it not like that, you know. So I don't know. I assumed I know this guy. He's a good people, but I don't know if you need a permit to do that. I don't know if he contacted you or anything like that.
We have a lot of Airbnbs that we track down, that we find out by people calling us because they see activity that's different. So it's something, we have a member of Ken's staff who's very good at it, and we bring them on board. We do also have sign regulations. If there's something that starts happening that we don't cover in our regulations, we'll work to make.
Well, it's a beautiful sign. Probably paid $600.
Is this in Country Village,
Yeah. No, Country States.
Country Estates?
Yeah, and this whole thing I'm asking is under being anonymous.
When did the sign go up?
Huh?
When did the sign go up?
A month ago, maybe?
Okay,
I'll look at it, see.
Okay, yeah.
thank you.
We do have to make sure there are some homes in Country Estates that are not within the town limits of Ocean View.
Well,
So if those homes, if it's one of those homes that are not within our jurisdiction, then obviously we would not have it.
well, I'll put it this way. My home's under the jurisdiction of his home.
It's on Winchester.
Okay.
And again, anonymous because I don't want, you know, something odd happening to my cars, you know, like brakes being cut.
Okay, thank you very much, Randy.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, then I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. Thank
And
you
just
all.
a reminder, in about 10 minutes, we'll be doing a can
Okay,
demo
yep.
outside.